Hello guys and welcome to another video on how to create a table using HTML. Moving ahead, you know what a table is. So a table allows a developer or a designer to arrange data in rows and columns, right? That's the basic of what a table is. Now how do we use a table or how do we implement a table in HTML? So we use the table tag. Now obviously we use the table tag. We'll look into how this table tag is used in our code, but for now we'll go through all of these points. So an HTML table is defined with the table tag as known. Each table row is defined with the tr tag. Now I want you to remember all of these. A table header is defined with the th tag. By default, table headings are bold and centered. Now we'll get to know what table header is, table row is, and a table data or whatever data goes into a cell is defined with the td tag. Now here table row, tr, table header, th, and whatever data goes into a cell is your td tag. So three tags inside the table tag is used. Now we'll look at a basic code, a simple HTML code for a table. Now we have, as you know, our table tag that's opening, this is closing. Now inside you can see we use the tr. This is table row. Now you can see it's opening and closing tag. So whatever goes into this right here is your row. Now this is your table. Imagine. So this is your table, right? These are your rows. Whatever goes in here, these are your rows. Now tr is used to make rows in a table. Now you can see th table header says month and it's closed here. So opening tag and closing tag. Whatever comes in between is your table header. Now when I say month, you can see right here. This is basically your table and month. Month is your heading, and in the same row we have another header. It's savings, and savings is right here. Note that it's a bit bold and it's centered. It's not, you can see it's centered right here, unlike all of these. Now we'll get to these. So yeah, table heading in bold and in center goes here, right? We use the td tag for your row, tr, and whatever goes in here normally is td. I mean, this is th. This is your header, right? So yeah, so these are your headers, th. Now we can see this thing is row 1, this particular row, and we have another row here, tr, right? This is a second row, and we have something here, td. So td is used to specify whatever data goes into each cell. Now you can see we use the td tag right here in the second row, and we say January for the month. That's right here, this particular thing. Second row, this is your first row, this is your second row, and td is used to specify data inside here. And again in the same row we have another td, that is data, table data, says $100. That's right here. So that's how you basically make a table. Very simple. Now we'll get to the live code, so you can code on online editors. For now I'll be coding right here. So you can see, I'll just zoom in. It says doc type HTML, the basics, HTML body, all of that. Now I'll use table type. So table and another one. So closing tag. So whatever code goes in here is our table, right? So we'll make our table row tr. We'll close it off with another tr. So yeah, this is our first row in our table. So in the first row, I want my table headings, right? Bold and centered, th and th, table heading. So our example said month. So month. So that's the first thing. And in the same row, savings, th. Now if I run this, you can see month and savings. It's just bold. There is no table right here, but it is actually a table. We'll get to specifying more data, and then you can see. So I'll make another row right here, or wait, for better understanding, I'll make another header, savings, and here simple, I believe, th. So if I run this again, you can see. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Okay, month savings, and here you have your table headings right here. So yeah, we have our table with our headings, month saving in here. Now imagine we have to fill data under these, right? So what do? We add more rows. So how do we do that? We use the tr tag. So I'll copy the same thing right here. Nothing funny. Okay. So th, instead of th, what I'll do now is I'll replace it with td. So right here, td. Okay, great job. td and td. So now if I run the code, you have your header and your values. So month, I want month to be uh, Jan. Okay. Jan. Savings to be 100. The year to be 2020. Okay. So there you go. Now if I run, yeah, month, Jan, savings 100, year 2020. So I can do the same thing on, and add many rows. So you can see right here, Jan, Feb, 200, okay, 2010, 2013. So there you go. That's your basic table. Now there is one thing you need to know. Now sometimes I want, for example, Jan, the month, to take up two spaces, two cell spaces in the vertical way. That is, two rows here and here. I want this Jan to be here and here. What do? How do I do this? So what you have to do is basically there is this attribute called as row span. So I want Jan to take up two rows. So row span value should be 2, right? If I put, now here you go, I'll show you how it's done. So td span 2. So this will take up this one, this row, and this row. So Feb will be pushed down. Okay, there you go. It will be pushed down. So what do I do? How do I fix this? So what you basically do is remove Feb. Now if I run, you can see the month Jan is taking up two spaces, right? This cell as well as this cell. That is how you make it occupy two row spaces. Now I want Jan to take up two spaces, I mean two cell spaces in this way, here as well as here. What I do? Two columns. I want it to occupy two columns. That is done using another attribute that's present obviously called call span. Similar to row span, it's call span. See all call span. Now what Jan does is takes up this row, I mean this column and this column too. Now what I'll do is I'll remove 100, otherwise it will interfere with this. So I'll take up this, I'll bring back Jan, I mean say your td feb slash td. There you go. Now if I run this, it looks something like this. So Jan is occupying this column as well as this column. So 100 is pushed. So I don't want that to happen. I'll just remove 100 and run the code. So there you go. So you can see it's aligned to the left. I can change the alignment, but for now we'll just look into this. So Jan is taken up two spaces, two column spaces, and then you have everything as usual. So call span and row span. So call span, number of column it will occupy, and row span, number of rows, the value that might be present in that cell might occupy. That's the basics. And bring back the old Control Z. There you go. So I'll remove this call span value for now. Run our code. There you go. That's our table. So a table has no lines and all of that. So we'll get to that. Now back to the presentation. So yeah, cell spacing attribute. So the table tag has another attribute called as cell spacing, and it takes in numbers, basically the pixel value. So it sets the space between the cells in terms of pixels. Now we'll see what this will do. So I have my table tag right here. I can use cell spacing. So cell spacing in terms of 2 pixel cell spacing. Oh, great job. It's an attribute, right? It should be inside the tag. Cell spacing 2. Now if I run it, nothing much. So why? Wait. What we need to do is border. So you can see. Now what cell spacing does? It provides spacing between cells. So this space you can see, right? This is cell spacing. So 2 pixels. So I'll increase this to, notice the change. I'll do it around 8 pixels. And there you go. So this is 8 pixels. The space between each cell. Now you can see border and it's 1 pixel. This is the border. So all of this is the basics. It's provided in your HTML, I mean table tag as attributes and the values. If I increase the border, there you go, more thicker. I'll reduce it to 1. Keep it simple. Yeah. Now, so you can see now. So this is your headings and it's centered, right? And it's bold by default. But whereas your TD, that is data in your cells, it's aligned to the left and it's not bold. Now moving ahead, we have adding borders to HTML tables. So we saw we added borders, right? That was an inbuilt attribute for the table tag. So now we can use CSS to style it. So CSS border property. If you do not specify a border for the table, it will be displayed without borders. As you saw before, we did not specify any border values, and there was a table actually, but there was no borders. So how do we do this? So this is some CSS code will embed. So table td. So as the table tag, the table header, as well as the table data tags used under the table. So we'll set the border to 1 px solid black. So 1 pixel and solid black. So we'll see how this is done. So this is our table code, right? I'll remove this for now. Okay, we'll work with some CSS. If I run it again, there you go, back to default. Default no borders. Now body right here. So we have the style. So inside the style tag, I'll specify. So table, we have the td and th. So what? Now we have this property border 1px solid black. There you go, the same results again. So we can see we have borders 1 pixel thick, solid black. The color is red, and it's red. So that's the basics. And then moving ahead, so now we know how to put borders in HTML using CSS instead of using the default provided attributes in the table tag. So moving ahead, adding collapsed borders in HTML table. Yeah, for borders to collapse into one border. So you saw there was space, right, between each cell, and I don't want this to happen. So I want it to be smooth. How do I collapse these? So add the CSS border collapse property. Same thing, we have border and border collapse. This is another property, and the value we'll give it is collapse. So we'll see what this does. So we have border right here, and it's red, because why not? So border collapse. Now, if I run the code, there you go. We don't have space between the borders, right? That's basically what border collapse does. It collapses each of the borders present to make this fine line between each of the cells. Again, moving ahead. Adding cell padding. Okay, so what a cell padding is. So cell padding specifies the space between the cell contents and its borders. So basically, this is your content and this is your cell, right? So this is your padding. So these are your cells in your table and your contents. The distance here, this is called padding, right? By default, it displays without any padding. Yeah, obviously, all of your content is stuck, like occupies fully a cell. So TDTH padding 10 pixels. We'll see what this does now. It's property of a table data and header only. Now for now I'll remove this, and wait, or else I can do this. Table strange. Table header. Now it was padding, right? So padding I want around 10px. So why not? So there you go, padding. So you can see 10px spacing is given right here. So 10px. So this you can see it's aligned to the left. So yeah, it'll take in this whole value and give it 10px. That's the padding right there. You can give it more also. You can give it around 20, because why not? There you go. Now you have a bigger table. That is what padding does. So you have your cell content, and spaces right here. The cell content and the cell border, it spaces in. So that is what padding does. So moving ahead, we have text align. Yes. Now we saw the text by default was aligned to the left for TD, right? It was right here. And for your headers, it is centered and it's bold. So TDTH, we have padding and text align. You can use this property called text align and provide center, left, right, whatever. So yeah, it can be left or right too. Let's see again. So you can see this is aligned to the left. If you notice, it's not center. You can see there is more space on the right. Now what I'll do is align these to the center. So by default, this is centered. So I'll put the TD, whatever values are in TDs, will go center. So text align center. So there you go. You just saw the change, right? It jumped from here to here. Now it's aligned to the center of each of these cells. So there is 30px padding, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, and then it's in the center. I can change it to the right also. So if I do that, you can see everything goes to the right. So there you go, to the right, right? Text align, right. Yeah. So we can bring it back to the left. Oh, oopsie. Left. So yeah, that is what text align does. You can align text left, right, center, all of that. So moving ahead, yeah, that is for this video. Thanks for watching.